back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you a game played between Viswanathan Anand and Garry Kasparov in 1995. So without any further ado, let's begin. The game starts with e4, c5, the Sicilian, then knight f3, d6, d4, c captures on d4, knight captures on d4 and knight to f6. Attacking this pawn over here. Sorry about that. Attacking this pawn over here. Then we have knight to c3, a6. Then we have bishop to e2, preparing to castle, e6, and then castles as planned. Bishop to e7, black also preparing to castle, a4, knight to c6, bishop to e3, just developing the bishop, and castles as planned. Then we have f4, opening up this rook, then queen to c7, and king to h1, moving the king to a safer square. Then we have rook to e8 by Kasparov, then bishop to f3, just bringing this bishop to a more active square. Then we have bishop to d7, still developing pieces, knight to b3, trying to avoid any exchanges in the center of the board. Then knight to a5, still offering an exchange. Then Anand obliges, knight captures, queen captures, and here we see queen to d3, just opening the queen up. Then rook a to d8, rook f to d1, and then we have bishop to c6. Then we have b4, a very good move by Anand. So here if queen captures pawn, then rook a to b1, queen has to move. If he moves to a3, then rook to b3 just traps the queen. And here if he moves to a5, then bishop to b6 just traps the queen. So Kasparov was not interested in any of this, so he simply retreated his queen back to c7. Then b5, then bishop to b7, just removing the bishop, because there's really nothing you can do with the exchange, and it's really not such a valuable exchange. So anyways, then rook a to b1, now Kasparov exchanges, pawn captures, knight captures, and bishop captures, and then queen captures. Then rook a to d8, then c4, opening up all his pawns, and then e5, hoping to exchange here. But first, Anand kicks away the queen and only then exchanges. So then we see a5, protecting this pawn and at the same time attacking this pawn. This pawn was attacked in the previous move, but if this was taken then, sorry about that, if this was taken then rook takes pawn is also there. That is exactly why Anand defended it first, and then he went to try to capture it, but then this bishop moved, launching a defense on this pawn. Then we see h3, taking away this square from the knight, so that the knight doesn't come here and try to give a double attack. Even though this diagonal is defended by the bishop, it is still a threat. So then we see queen to e6, rook to d5, a beautiful move. So here if black chooses not to capture this rook, then simply rook to d1 is coming. Rook to d1 is coming, doubling up the rooks. Then we have, what was played in the game was knight captures on d5, because it's an exchange sacrifice. The rook was sacrificed for a much better position. Pawn captures with an attack on the queen, queen to g6, then c5, simply developing the pawn structure and also blocking this bishop from moving forward. So then we have e4, bishop to e2, rook to e5, and then we see queen to d7, defending this pawn from the rook. Then we see rook to g5, then rook to g1, defending this pawn. So then e3, simply opening up, Garry is opening up his pawns, and then we see d6, I'm simply developing his pawn structure even more. I would like to add that in this position, this move could not be played here, because then bishop would simply capture it and you cannot capture back, otherwise your queen is gone. So that is why that move is played now. So then we see rook to g3, trying to attack even more, and then queen captures on b7, then queen to e6, and here itself this rook is attacked, but Anand wants to attack the other rook too, so he played king to h2, and it was at this position that Garry Kasparov resigned the game, because you can't stop what's coming next. This rook is hanging. You could predict one of them, but the other one will always go. You can't stop it. You do have some ideas for discovery over here, but it's really not going to do anything. You can simply move the rook, the king goes. You can simply capture this. Now move the rook, the king goes back. Then there's actually nothing to be done. So that is exactly why at this position Garry Kasparov resigned. That's all for this video, guys. Hope you liked this video. I also have an interesting chess puzzle for you guys, so make sure you solve that and put your answers down in the comments. I'll see you soon. Bye.